Bojack Horseman remembers everything. The most popular video on my channel so far is about how Smiling Friends does an amazing job in its world building. People age and characters die. But Bojack, the effort that show had in making every single thing consequential and permanent was a dedication that was absolutely consistent. If you finish the show, you know that show ties in everything. And when I mean everything, I mean something will always come back to haunt you. But that's one of the main premises of the show. But I'm not only referring to major plot points. I'm referring to the little quirks and Easter eggs that heighten those rising actions. These details hint to us that things actually happen in this world. These small but permanent illusions creators remember truly made this remarkable show more than just a cartoon. Yes, it is still animation, but it doesn't follow the typical cartoon rules. Bojack Horseman felt like such an authentic world because it remembered everything. First, let's start off with a running joke that has affected the way I'll pronounce this city pretty much forever. And I'm literally from California.
That worked effectively.
It's a Hollywood done it, as police are scrambling to figure out who stole the D from the famed Hollywood sign.
So we see that Bojack steals the D from the Hollywood sign for the end, and well, by cartoon logic, that D should have been back by the next episode. And basically, Hollywood becomes immortalized as Hollywood for the rest of the series.
Hollywood stars and celebrities, what do they know?
Question. Hollywood stars and celebrities, what do they know?
For a domesticated woman, I bid you farewell.
Okay, goodbye.
Yes, mine was a story.
Finder outer of what Hollywood stars and celebrities know and whether they know things.
Until Mr. Peanut Butter finally fixes it.
Let's say goodbye to the era of Hollywood forever and say hello to Hollywood.
The next thing I'm going to cover is probably the most significant, as it was this that made me realize the type of show Bojack actually was. So in typical cartoon fashion, a character can have major injuries all throughout their body and be just fine by the next episode. But when I saw this character actually suffer a medical injury and not be healed back to her normal self, this is when I started to see that Bojack actually had permanent consequences. And it might seem over the top thinking, but I had this realization after this scene in the season 2 premiere.
He actually...
My face! My beautiful face! Why didn't someone tell me not to trip over that cable? There to do it, and now my face is ruined!
So haha, Lady got burned because Diane didn't do the job she hated being assigned to. I thought she'll be covered in bandages later and never be brought up again. But no, she ends up having a disfigured face for the rest of the series. And this tiny attention to detail made me understand that Bojack really is a show that can do irreversible damage.
I'm better be checking the pH levels of that jacuzzi because
and I don't know how you felt, but every subsequent episode I just became more and more anxious about what Bojack was going to do next. And boy did Bojack do some irreversible damage. And I wanted to end this video kind of on a positive note, not involving bodily injuries, but Bojack is a show you have to watch multiple times just to see every single reference. You really can't doom scroll while watching this show. But do y'all remember during Diane's birthday when Mr. Peanut Butter had a Starbucks themed room made for her?
What did you do to the spare bedroom?
Every room at this party has a theme, and this room's theme is Starbucks.
They slightly went over it why it was made, but it was only on screen for about 30 seconds. And then about 4 seasons later, during a flashback scene, we find out that this room was actually created because this is where they first met.
It's 2007.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'll have an Americano with steamed milk instead of water.
I just love that almost every line from this show has substance or a backstory. So I think the next time I watch this show, I'm just gonna watch the background because probably one of the props has a crazy lore that we missed. So if you want to follow along and see some trivia that you probably missed, please consider subscribing, as I only need 700 more to fulfill my dream as a monetized YouTuber, guys. Thank you guys, have a great night, and goodbye.